Hello everybody, Jose Rodriguez back again, and happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. And I don't care whether you are an American veteran or whoever, I salute everyone who has served in the military. Now, let's talk about what has been going on today. Oh my gosh, it just never stops. And listen, you guys, I have 17 of these printers to take care of and maintain, and it's just today like everything went wrong. So the day began this morning. I decided to come down and check to see whether my QImage Ultimate had done the unclog print, meaning that custom made perch sheet that you can create specifically to your particular ink set and printer. Let me show you what that looks like real quick. They look like this. And these are custom created, like I said, taking your particular color palette into consideration. But although it is a wonderful way to keep your printer exercised, if you don't pay attention, you are going to run into trouble. And here's what happened. So for a couple of months already, I have been using the Pro 1000. I've made a ton of prints on Pro Luster, on Glossy, but not on matte. And I thought, no problem, I'm running my perch sheet. That'll take care of it. No, it will not. No, it will not. Because they ask you to choose a particular type of paper, whether it is glossy or a matte medium when you set up your scheduler. Okay? And of course, my Pro 1000 setup was only for a shiny paper. Sure, I could have picked plain paper, but then it would not exercise photo black. It wouldn't. It would exercise probably matte black. So anyway, what happened was that my matte black ink has not been used in God knows how long. And this morning I did a nozzle check. Rather than a perch sheet, I decided to do a nozzle check, and the matte black channel was completely blank. Well, imagine the panic, because that usually never happens. You will always have a portion of that channel printing, and you could have, say, 90% of your nozzles clogged up, but you'll still have some kind of hint that channel is actually operating. Well, it looked like it was not operating. It looked like it had suffered an electronic failure maybe. Well, I ran a cleaning cycle just for zone 2, which contains matte black. As you are well aware, these printers have compartmentalized zones for your printed cleanings, so you don't unnecessarily run a global cleaning and waste ink on 11 of the colors when only one of them needs a treatment. So you can choose a zone which only contains 4 colors. I did that. I ran a nozzle check again, and I had a smidgen of a bit of matte black printing, but not good enough. So I ran another one, and it improved a little bit. Then we went away. We went to visit our daughter, did some shopping, came back late afternoon, and I ran a nozzle check. It had been sitting by itself all day. I figured, okay, if anything is going to change, it'll probably be for the better. I ran a nozzle check, and it did indeed improve. So then I ran another cleaning cycle, and then a nozzle check. And this time the nozzle check was blank. And I'm going, oh Lord, please, please keep this printer from dying on me. And so I decided, you know what, let's run a deep cleaning on zone 2. I let it do its thing. It took quite a while. I went upstairs, came back down, only to find that 4 of my Red X cartridges decided that they needed to be disabled. Now I did the disabling simply by pressing the stop button for 5 seconds. Each channel gets disabled, and that is an error, and the number is 1753. you will see that. It means that the printer has determined you do not have sufficient ink to continue printing. Of course we do. Of course we do. We have a ton of ink on our cartridges. None of these lights are on. So that I know that I have lots of ink. And if I take one out, I weigh them about 65, 70 grams at this point. Okay. One that was low also had to be disabled. So no matter what condition the chip is in, when you begin to refill them, eventually they will all require disabling, period. I thought we could go around that little problem by just keep adding ink. No, that is not the case. They will go to the point where the printer refuses to continue printing unless you do the disabling procedure, which is stop button, 5 seconds. You will see a processing command on your screen, and that chip now is completely disabled. You will just see a little rectangle like you saw in my previous video. Okay, so far we are showing that we have a blank nozzle check again on the matte black. So I run that deep cycle. I go upstairs, I have some coffee. Hold on one sec here. And come back down. And I am praying at this point. I do the nozzle check, and I have 100% nozzle check for all the channels. Let me go ahead and run one more just for fun. I'm going to click OK, maintenance, nozzle check, and yes. And we'll wait for it to finish, and I will bring it over to the camera and show you. Now, like that's not enough, okay, to make your day, if you will. I decided to, let's get the P800 going here, because I got to do a project for my wife, and I'm going to be printing a panoramic image, a certain exact length and height. It's for a miniature project we are doing. It's going to be kind of cute. I'll show you guys that maybe in a later video once we get it all done. Now, I decide, well, you know what? I don't want to remove my roll, so I'm going to just run a couple of cleaning cycles, and then we'll proceed to do a test print on paper and see how that turns out. Here it comes. Hold that thought. And we have a perfect nozzle check. Whew. Boy. So, before we come back to this, I'll tell you what happened over there. So, I do the cleaning cycles. I'm getting ready to print a test image on my luster roll of paper from Red River, and I noticed that I can't print. Why? My maintenance cartridge has been declared full. Oh gosh. Well, I have a bunch of others that I have been repacking. The 3800, 3880, and the P800 use the same maintenance cartridge. And I'm thinking, I'm glad I have extras. Here they are. And they can be repacked. You can actually disassemble the unit, remove the nasty ink-filled padding, throw that away carefully, and then I pack it with a type of absorbent material that you would use in a auto repair shop, except this absorbs water and not oil. So basically, those are packed, those are reset. Well, after the resetting procedure, you have to exchange with a previously recorded cartridge. Well, it was kind of iffy. It would take it, and then I put it on another printer that has never seen that chip, and it would reject it. So I'm going crazy this afternoon trying to figure this out. So all of the cartridges that are now on my P800, my 3800, my 3880 have been repacked and reset, and at this point so far they haven't been accepted. The Pro 3800, 3880 all of a sudden decided it was going to declare those cartridges as non-genuine. Well, you have to then accept that they are indeed non-genuine, and it allows you to use them. So at this point I'm going like, wait a minute, is this going to be a situation like the Pro 1000 where you cannot get MC20 maintenance cartridges at all? I looked up online and it's almost that bad. Except I did find a provider that I'm going to be getting one brand new one by next Tuesday, I believe. So that's good. Cost me a little bit more than it would have normally cost. I think it was like $29. The retail original price used to be $23.50, something like that. But anyway, again, like I said, it's just never ends. So I got everything running. Now I got to run some nozzle checks on the 3800, 3880s, get them back in line, and maybe, they're a little bit clogged at this point from lack of use. Again, my fault. But let's take a look at what you really have to do with the Pro 1000 if you're going to use QImage. And by the way, this weekend, both individuals are going to be with me, so we can then bombard them with questions. But here's what you got to do. Because this printer, unlike the P800, 3880, 3800, that have to switch black ink, this printer does not. So you have to create two schedules, one for glossy paper and one for matte paper. Maybe print them on alternative days. One day we'll print using matte black ink, one day we'll print using photo black ink, and you will never have the problem that I experienced. Simply because my matte black ink was not being utilized at all. All my work that I have been doing for the last maybe 6 months have been on non-matte paper. So that's why that happened. And so again, people who think Canon printers never clog. Oh yes, they do. You ignore them like I did, and it clogs. Now, during all of this, I gotta hit A is perfect. Go back to my screen. So during all of this, trying to get that channel clear, of course, about 4 of my Red X and also 1 low cartridge had to be disabled. Basically, you just cannot print anymore. You have to disable those chips before you can continue. So those are all set. I am down to, I think, 4 Red X cartridges, and 1 photo cyan is still render low. That's going to go completely, let's call it empty. It's going to ask me to disable it. And then from that point onward, all of the cartridges will be disabled. Okay. On my driver on the computer, they show up as blank. No color identification at all, just the name. It'll just say, R, C, Y, and so forth. But it will not show any kind of color indication on the what would be normally the ink level indicators. Over here, however, it kind of looks like this printer now is chipless, let's just say. And in reality, really it is. Over here you see nothing but full bars of color for each channel. A little weird, but if I go into the more detailed presentation, it'll just show me as blank. Okay, no color at all. Gosh. I was thinking I would have to do an ink recharge on that particular zone. I didn't want to do that. That would have wasted a ton of ink. And I am then going nuts because that's my last MC20 cartridge in that printer right now. Okay? Now, the other day, I decided to try the chip resetter for MC20s from Mike Lee. He sent me his because his Pro 1000 threw a B204 error, and he's got to take it to the shop. The only way that they can unlock it is through special software only they have access to. So he sent it to me. I'll show you what that looks like. This is what it looks like. This inserts into the chip unit in the cartridge. It resets it. You see a green light indication. You press this button here, and then it can be remounted onto the printer, and it will continue absorbing ink. Now the danger here, of course, is this. Unless I have x-ray vision, this thing is getting pretty heavy now. This is a declared full cartridge. Now Mike opened one of these up. He actually, I believe he cut one of the corners down, but there are breathers. There's something here that I can, it feels a little bit porous to me if I put something pointy on it. Right here, these two little openings, I see like a white material behind it. So my project from now on is going to be how I can machine very carefully a portion of this so that I can extract either with forceps or whatever the internal packing material without harming the unit itself. And then I will machine a plexiglass cover to replace what I milled away. I'm going to mill away, I got a milling machine. I'm going to mill away the corner. That's going to be then open. It's like I took the top of a box off. Okay. On top of that, I'm going to have to create a perfectly fitting plexiglass cover that you would then attach somehow with adhesive that you can detach, like silicone or something similar. That way you can then repack it, but this time when you reuse them, do not ever let them go above, say, half capacity, because it would be, you'd be a little bit pushing your luck, if you will. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that off. These things cannot be found anywhere right now. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know whether it is the lack of chips. I don't know. What possible component could it be that they're not able to acquire to manufacture these units? Who knows? You can get some of them. They're available. Some people that had them before the pandemic hit and all of this hit the fan, if you will, and they are selling them for about $90 each. That's a lot of money for MC20 that you normally pay $14.95 from Canon. So that's what I'm trying to do next. I will be doing this slowly. I want to do this as elegantly as possible. I don't want it to look like like I murdered it. I want it to look like I dissected it. And so that's what I'm working on next. I know what I need to do at this point. Make sure that I run nozzle checks. Nozzle checks rather than these, unless I'm willing to prepare two different modes. One for glossy and one for matte paper. Okay? Everything is running. I did a set of matte prints to make sure everything was working. I see absolutely no banding whatsoever. We'll take a quick look at these. These are just letter size. Got a black and white. Whoop, do I have two here? Yeah. Come on. You've seen this one before. And then a monochrome, again perfectly neutral. And I am running a hybrid inkset. Oh, by the way, the detail in the shadow is amazing. I don't know whether you can see that on video, but it's there. This is almost nothing but cyan. That's the way the image is. And of course, a droplet of water. And again, no banding whatsoever. No hint of any kind of problems with the matte black ink not flowing. So I'm happy that I was able to solve that. Again, it was a very anxious day for me today. On the P800, I decided, wait a minute, you know what? When was the last time, Jose, that you switched over to matte black ink? Remember, you have to switch, and you have to do this every month or so. If you really want to keep that valve working, if you have a newer P900, P700, they don't have a valve anymore. They have enough channels on the printhead to handle the complete ink set. Here you have to switch black ink. There's one channel less. You have 9 cartridges, you have 8 channels. Pro 3880, the same thing. P600, the same thing. R3000. All of these printers, they share the black channel. So I did the switch. Gosh, where did I put that nozzle check? I think it's right here. Maybe. Nope. Anyway, I did the switch. Removed the roll so that I can just use letter size plain paper. Did a nozzle check and my matte black was not complete. Did another clean cycle. That's when the maintenance cartridge went full on me. And I took it out and it was just gummy as can be. I replaced the inside padding with my special padding, reset it, and then I swapped it for another cartridge and it accepted it, lucky. But it's very finicky. It will not accept all the cartridges. So I have to buy a new one. That's coming next week. Anyway, so I go ahead and run a secondary clean cycle, another nozzle check, and it's perfect at this point. So I'm happy. I printed this on that watercolor radiant white paper. Again, beautiful, nice strong blacks, no banding whatsoever, and a very good match to my monitor. Then I went ahead and switched back to photo black because I'm going to be printing that project for my wife, and I got to do it on roll paper. And I said, well, I am not going to remove the roll just to do a nozzle check. I'm just going to go ahead and print and see what happens. Did a very small set of prints. They are all perfect. Zero banding anywhere. That tells me I have probably, very likely, a complete nozzle check. Sure, I should have checked, but that's good enough. So now I have everything set up to do my long panoramic image that I got to print for my wife. So lots of things happening, and today was a very busy day because I didn't have the luxury of staying home all day. We were going out. We had a day planned already with my daughter. So glad everything is taken care of. So guys, be aware that you have to exercise these printers, both types of papers. It will not print with matte black ink unless you pick matte media. It will not print with photo black unless you print with a glossy type media or luster. Anything with a shine. Anything that isn't matte. You see, all kinds of things can happen to me as well. Not just you guys. The idea being that as these things happen, you learn through the process of getting everything online again, if you will. And then your troubleshooting, I guess, ability increases. And that's what I am really good at lately. I am a good troubleshooter. I know what to avoid, what to ignore, and what to concentrate on. And so today was a triumphant ending to what could have been a very worrisome day for me. All right, thank you so much. Again, thank you all the veterans out there. Have a great evening. I went to the supermarket and they gave me an 11% discount. I had to show my ID card, of course, but again, thank you. That is awesome. I did not go to all the donut shops and try to get free coffee or all that. No, I don't take advantage of that. Anyway, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. We'll see you this weekend with QImage Mike Cheney and Andrew of QImage 1. Get your questions ready. We're going to hit them with every question we can come up with. I got a few of my own as well. Happy printing, everybody. Bye-bye.